What's up, everybody? I hope everybody's staying safe out there. We're going to be talking to Dying Oath here very shortly. I do want to, first, before they hop on, thank everybody. We beat 100 followers. I think we're at like 105 or some shit now. So thank you guys for that. That means the world to us. What he said. I'm a man of my word. I uploaded on our story the video of me bashing the beer can over my head. It's gone now, so you
can't fucking see it.
It's gone, but it was there. I am a man of my word. We'll be bringing on Dying Oath here very, very shortly.
Like a couple seconds.
Yeah, 1, 2, 49, 69, 25. Hello.
I about flipped her off. I'm so sorry.
What's up?
It's a bad habit.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. COVID-free and all that good stuff. How about on your end?
Yeah, so far so good.
Good. Are we gonna be having other people join in here, or is it?
My guitar player should be jumping on.
Sweet. In the meantime, we'll ask a few questions here that we'll ask again later, perhaps. I'm just gonna wave at everybody in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for coming in and watching this. This means a lot.
Doug.
It's a fantastic band, and we'll get started here. I'll ask from your point of view, what is the superhero origin story for your band? How did it begin? What made you guys want to start? And give us a little bit of insight on that.
Well, they actually started way before me. Josh and Ryan had jammed for a couple of years probably, with a bunch of different members, just hanging out, nothing really serious. And then they decided that they wanted to do it as a band, like full-time thing. So they started bringing in more serious people. And then Ryan got switched from drums to guitar. And then we got a drummer. And then they brought me in after they got a clean vocalist. And that's pretty much it. Since then, we've just kind of been hanging out. We've all been friends for years, inadvertently, through other people or, whatever. It's a small town, so everybody knows everybody. But once they brought me in, it was kind of a solid deal. And then we've gone through a couple of member changes since then. But, with life going on and a pandemic and family stuff and all that, people tend to exit and then you find more people and then you just keep rolling.
Sweet. Well, I hear, if I read it correctly, I'm pretty sure I did. You guys are in...
We're pretty sure he can read.
Yeah. You guys are in the search for a drummer now, yeah?
We are. Not sure if I'm supposed to release anything yet, but we may have actually found one. So stay tuned for that. We did new band photos yesterday, so hopefully he stays. If not, we'll have to start all over.
We'll have to fucking pee in his mouth.
There we go.
He's a drummer.
He's a drummer too.
So it looked like my guitar player is actually on, so we'll just have to see if we can get him to join.
Ask to join the chat, and we can go ahead and bring you on.
Yeah, just request to join, and we will bring you on in, buddy. What is that? Within the Mist is in here. Holy shit.
What's up, Within the Mist?
Oh,
yeah, that's some of our friends. I love those dudes.
We've played with it. Oh, so cool. So the next show Dilation does, we're playing with Dying Oath and Within the Mist.
Yep, that's going to happen. We just willed it into existence now.
Yep, it's going to happen.
Let's do it. I'm in.
Have you ever heard of Dilation before?
No, but I will look into that.
They suck. They don't have any music out. I'm their drummer. If you like death metal, it's the way to go.
I
love metal, so.
Thing anyway.
I do want to ask a little bit. We'd spoken a little bit prior to this, and we're all in the same boat of we come from like small towns in the South, so the metal scene is dedicated and everybody knows each other in that kind of way. I do want to ask, it looks like we're bringing Ryan on here, so I'll ask you both. Is it hard, with it being such a small-knit community, for the most part, considering, is it hard to find people who are, hey, what's up?
What's up, guys?
What's up?
Party.
But I'll ask you both, is it hard in a, not metal-dominated part of the of the country to find people to come audition who are serious and who stick around. Was that a challenge for you?
Yes,
For sure.
absolutely. So when we were looking for a vocalist, we had like, what was it, around 70 audition tapes to go through?
A lot.
But they were all like super far away. So, you know, you kind of have to dial it down to like who's going to actually be a possibility if you don't want to stay just the studio band and have live practices. So that was rough. And finding a drummer has been extremely difficult because I don't know if you guys know this, but drummers are hard to come by, especially good ones that are dedicated. Hey, Chris Dom. Hey, sorry.
What's up?
What up?
Okay, so just to introduce everybody, I am, of course, the vocalist. Kristen is our bass player, and Ryan is our rhythm guitar player.
What's up, everybody?
Hey.
And we'll that question around here. The virtual room, I guess. Yeah, virtual room here. You know, how hard was it? You know, not for looking for dying, looking in the first place. I know from my experience, finding a lot of people kind of music out was hard. So it's like, I'll just do my own stuff. Was that ever, you know, a challenge in just finding people? I did, but was it hard for you guys to find somebody, find a group of people who were like?
Yeah, it was kind of rough. It wasn't as hard to find a bass player when we found Kristen because she was kind of a friend of ours and a fan of ours anyways. So that was probably the easiest member that we replaced, but everybody else was difficult, to say the least. Hoping we don't have to do that again.
No.
Okay.
So what are you guys doing? Are you guys show ready? Listen, you guys got 3 singles. You guys ready to playing somewhere? Dilation and Johnson City.
Well, we're not exactly show ready because, of course, we just got Kristen, and then we just found a drummer. So it's going to take a while for everybody to learn their parts and get all that done. But we are currently in the studio trying to get the album done. So hopefully by the time we get the album done, we'll be show ready, and then we can go out and, you know, do shows to promote the actual album. Hopefully.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And I do want to go ahead and we're talking about listening to you guys on Spotify, which is my preferred music platform. Guys out at we got End of Days, Insomniac, and Modern Test, 3 big singles. Fantastic tracks. I really legitimately lie to people, you know, like this guy and be, oh yeah, your band's great. Actually sucks. You guys are fantastic, and I legitimately. What was the process? Was that, and my timeline might be a little off, was that before COVID, during COVID? How was that to try to get the production?
Well, when everybody else was kind of taking time off during the pandemic, we were still working. Even though we couldn't play as many shows and stuff as we'd like, we were still able to, you know, get some videos done and try to get some other things done to try and get this album out. We actually had the songs done several times, and then we've gone through member changes and had to go back and redo everybody's parts. And so that's kind of been the holdup for the last year on the album. So we've just been doing anything that we can outside of playing shows. And then, of course, when things opened back up, we were able to play more shows. But we just worked any way that we could together remotely. That's about all we could do.
So, question for you, my friend. What's your inspiration for guitar, brother?
I'd have to say it started back at like the Live at Brixton DVD from Bullet. I was obsessed with Matt Tuck's Jackson guitar then and everything, and seeing just that whole experience on that DVD like blew me away. And I hadn't been to a real live show yet until I turned 18 and finally saw Bodum, who I'm a huge fan of, with Black Label Society, Clutch, and 2 Cent. And Lexi Leo's obviously been a hero since then, and that's just where it started.
Sweet.
I'm super jealous of that show. That sounds fucking awesome. I would absolutely have loved that. How was
I got to see Alexi do his guitar flip. Fucking life was made. I met him at Mayhem 2013, and my life was complete. I got to meet my hero. So
for sure? Well, question over to Chris. What was your inspiration?
Thump away, man.
Funny story is I'm new to bass. I'm
Oh,
actually hard and
Hang on, Kristen.
do
you
what?
want to put up a little
Do what?
We couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Hang on 1 second. Go ahead and switch over to Mindy. Let me get this thing figured out.
right.
Okay, so I guess I'll go. Honestly, like, I started out in church. Like, I was a big fan. My mom was a singer, and she wanted to be a singer. And so, after she had me and kind of put that dream aside, I decided that that's kind of what I wanted to do. So I took vocal lessons. And when I was 5, I saw Joan Jett on TV, and I was like, I want to be that when I grow up. So since then, that's kind of what I've chased.
And I do got to ask, kind of springboarding off of that, you know, you said you guys sung in church and stuff. Did you scare the shit out of your parents by, like, coming in and being, you know, and let's be like, oh no, like, was that him, or was it pretty well slid into?
Well, I mean, I started in church, and, you know, I don't have anything against church or anything like that, but, you know, we come from a Bible town, and most of my family go to church. My 2 aunts were gospel singers, but my mom was always kind of into rock and metal anyway, so I think she just kind of expected it when I was like, this is what I want to do. And she's been super proud of me and been very supportive, and I think that's super helpful in maintaining a career in metal, especially. So I kind of got lucky. The rest of my family is like, oh my gosh, I can't listen to that, but I support you. But my mom, on the other hand, she's all for it.
That's how my mother is. I cannot listen to that music, but you're playing the drums, so it's okay.
So I'll support it. That's always when you go to a show, and you can always tell who, like, the family of the people on stage are. Like, a 75-year-old woman with a F4 t-shirt on, and you're like, that is either the coolest fan ever, or that's somebody's mom or grandma. But we'll go ahead and re-ask the question here. What got you wanting to, as he so elegantly said, thump away?
Okay, first of all, can you hear me better now?
We're in good
Yeah.
shape,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, cool deal. Like I was saying, I'm new to bass. I'm actually a guitarist. But it's hard for me to find inspiration because I'm one of the weirdest musicians you'll probably ever meet ever. But I got started on a lot of, like, Silverstein, stuff like that. That was, like, the first, like, real big push for me. Like, I hung out with I had some guys on my street that were older, and they were into that kind of stuff. So, like, you know, one day I just came over, and then they were just, like, blaring Silverstein and stuff, and, like, just, I don't know. I come from, like, and then I was introduced to metalcore and stuff, but just metalcore, anything pop punk, anything like that. Of course, my parents, you know, they listen to the old 80s rock and stuff like that. But I, you know, found a new love for bass. It's definitely interesting. It's definitely a lot harder than people make it out to be if you make it hard. You can make some serious shit on some bass, though, that's for sure.
No, I respect that, because out of the two of us, I'm the metalcore guy. I'm the guy who wore a shirt on here before. And I'm the guy who's always, I'm a big Ice Nine Kills fan. I actually got their logo.
Yeah.
So anytime you guys are on the Metal Everything page and you see anything in the story about, like death metal or extreme metal, it's this guy. If you see anything, it's like, Ask Alexander released a new record. That's my ass. So
Yeah, see, there you go. We get along just fine.
Yeah, it's got to be the whole wide scope of metal. And thinking about the wide scope of metal, what brought you guys to what you guys play? Is there any, you know, we have some, you know, gospel backgrounds, you know, metalcore backgrounds, stuff like that. What brought you guys to the specific genre that you guys play? Was it just that's what clicked, or?
Well, I guess Ryan will have to agree with this. A lot of the music that is written is by Josh, who isn't currently with us, but that's kind of what he was into, was, you know, like the 2000s metalcore, and that's something that all of us kind of agree on and something that we all connect with. And You know, I think it's just something that we're trying to bring back. What do you think, Ryan?
Fair. So what do you think? Fucking metalcore or death metal? Give it to.
Yeah, we're gonna make this happen
Because
now.
you said, what fuck? Your vocals remind me a lot of what is that fucking God? Can I borrow your phone? Sorry, you ask a question because
I'll ask you a question while he looks at this band.
You're probably going to say Arch Enemy because I get that a lot.
Yeah, there you go.
Alyssa.
Say it one more time for
Arch
the
Enemy.
people. Yeah, there we go. She sounds identical. Woman, and that was I heard. I was listening to End of Days on the way over here, and I was like, that sounds a lot like Arch Enemy, but I have brain farts all the time. I forget.
I'll take it. I get that a lot, but I'll take it. They're brilliant. Both vocalists for that band were brilliant. So.
Awesome. They're tremendous.
Yeah, it's definitely a compliment. So we'll go around here kind of clockwise if we can, ending with you, Ryan. Metalcore, extreme death metal.
Extreme death metal.
Which one?
I gotta go metalcore.
Fuck!
Yeah.
All right, come on, Arch. Let's hear it.
I'm dead square in the middle, dude. I can either get down to Slaughter to Prevail or Bullet for My Valentine. It depends on the mood.
Nice. All right, Mindy?
I'm gonna have to say the same. Like when it comes to performing, I've got a lot of rage, so I'm into the death metal. But when it comes to, you know, like what I listen to and whatnot, I'm straight down the middle. I like a lot of both. I guess I lean more to the metalcore because I like the melodies, but I like both.
I fucking hate this.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. No, that's awesome. That's one of those things where, like, that's one of the cool things about metal is, of course, there's always those outliers that kind of shit on the bed, or shit the bed a little bit, not on the bed, but you have people who are extremists on both sides who are like, no, if it's not death or cap, it sucks. And then you have people who are like, oh no, if it's not like Black Veil Bride, it sucks. I like people
Why don't
like,
you just fucking at me next time, bro?
I'm in the middle.
No, okay.
I'm in the middle somewhat too, but I'm absolutely more the metalcore guy because I'm a big like Whitechapel fan and like Slaughter to Prevail and shit like that.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I play extreme death metal, so I love it.
And I play metalcore, so I love that. So it's fair.
So for me, I like to listen to what I want to push to get to, and like, yeah. I'll shut the fuck up. Ask a question.
So I'll go around and ask, since we're talking about different genres of music here, are there any, like, what's the weirdest shit on your guys' playlist? Like, because everybody has, like, you can't have a playlist metal and not have, like, a Backstreet Boys song. Do you guys have any, like, absolutely random shit that maybe has influenced you musically?
Okay, I'll start. My favorite genre is actually the blues. So I've got
Nice.
a lot of that in my repertoire. I actually love things like Kelly Clarkson, Sarah McLachlan. I love the vocals, you know, the vocal range to that. Adele. I really love old pop music. I used to be really into like the Backstreet Boys and Spice Girls. Don't tell anybody that. But then it ranges, of course, all the way into like new metal and Marilyn Manson, you know, all the way up to metalcore and deathcore. So I think I've got a pretty wide range all the way up to old country. I mean, we were raised in Virginia, so you got to have some of that.
Do.
Kristen?
I like a lot of the stuff like she said. I'm not a huge country fan. I like old country, but probably some of the weirdest stuff I listen to is like I'm a big gamer. I love Fallout Radio, like that old 1920s and all that stuff. Like on the way home from our photo shoot last night, I was just like listening to Fallout Radio on the way back home. It was awesome. But it's just weird stuff like that. I appreciate really old music, stuff like that.
I got mostly punk and pop stuff. Other than that, Rise Against. TikTok got me onto a Doja song that sits in a playlist next to some heavy metal right now, so I won't even try to deny that.
So have you heard the Doom playlist, the game, Kristen?
Oh yeah.
Doom playlist.
Heavy as shit. Yeah.
It's heavy. It's heavy. You like that? Like the playlist they have for that game is just awesome. Like you just go in a different world. You're just blowing demons and shit up. It's great.
Cool too. You know, you brought up the blues, you brought up 20s music and stuff. A lot of that shit helped inform what would turn into the shit that we all listen to and what this page was founded on is metal music. So it's really interesting to kind of go back and like I'm a big Howlin' Wolf fan. So going back and listening to him and you just hear like, that's clearly like the precursor to metal vocals. Like there's no getting past that whatsoever. But back on here to metal, I do want to kind of circle back a little bit. What can we expect? I know we got a new drummer in works. I'm trying to tread lightly because you know how this shit works. Got a new drummer in the works. We wanting to get in the studio and stuff. Are we looking? I know it's a long way away, but maybe end of the year, some dates or anything like that, or are we trying to focus on getting in the studio?
Well, as I said, we're currently in the studio, and before we found the drummer, we actually found a session drummer, and I can't say who it is yet, but it's going to blow your minds away. So we wanted to make sure before we found a drummer that we could get this album finished. So that's the main thing that we're focused on. No matter what we do this year, we have to get this album out because we've been promising it for 2 years, but we've had the pandemic, we played shows, and then we had member changes. So the number one thing right now is to get this album out, and then I feel like everything else will follow because once you have an album and more material out, then you can get shows. So hopefully we get to play this year, but if we don't, if we get this album out, I'll be happy.
Fair. Well, I want to play with you guys.
Let's do it, man. At some point, we'll do it.
Hopefully everything works out, and end of the year we can, within the midst, Dying Oath and Dilation can fucking play together because that'd be badass.
Yeah, we got some within the midst guys here. It looks like in chat.
Angus, what's up, Angus?
So we're gonna.
Nah, dude, we got to take it to the Hideaway, man. I love Capones, but the Hideaway is just so much more. It's more of an intimate.
Have you guys played either the Hideaway or Capones in Johnson City?
No, I think we had gotten an offer to play at Capones, and we had already had a date, and so we weren't able to do that. But that's one of my personal favorite places to go and watch shows, so I'd love to play a show there. We have not played the Hideaway, so we'll definitely put both of those on the bucket list.
Just a heads up, the Hideaway is like the trippiest setup ever. So like most places you walk into and it's like there's maybe a bar or some shit, and then you walk towards the back, and then there's like the stage, whether it's in the back or maybe in a separate room like it is Capones. Hideaway, I shit you not, your new drummer will have a fun time there because when you walk straight in, the bar is in the back and the stage is in the front. So when you walk in, you're jamming and you're playing, then like where Bailey is, there's somebody walking in. It's real intimate, like you said, real intimate. It's real tight. It's pretty cool because you can always kind of see if somebody walks in and they're like, oh, I hear just like maybe music rumbling outside. And they walk in and it's like, yeah, and they're like, oh, fuck. And they shut the door and leave. That is the funniest shit in the world. So
I talk to those people while I'm playing. It's fun.
Yeah.
Hey,
what's
don't
up?
go. Don't leave. No, I prefer the Hideaway. I love Capones. The sound guy's phenomenal. I love Big John, the bartender. But I prefer the Hideaway just because, I mean, last time we played there, a dude set himself.
Yes, I can attest
You
to
can't do that at Capones. You can do that in the Hideaway.
Dude was really into it, and it was it was them. They were the headliner. And the dude, it was me and one of our mutual friends, like leaning against the bar, and he just runs up and is like in the pit, and it's whoosh, he sets his hand on fire and then falls and stop, drops, and rolls, and you're like, where else in the world are you going to see that shit? And also, if there's any Evil Dead fans watching, there's a Necronomicon on the wall. Really fucking cool, too. So it's a badass place, and you guys should absolutely set some sights there later in the year. But, I do want to ask a little bit. You guys are from Virginia, which is not the most metal place. We're from East Tennessee, which is also not the most metal place.
Lamb of God came out of Virginia.
Did they?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Virginia, bud.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
Me being wrong on camera here. Goddamn. Anyway, so I'll retract Virginia, but East Tennessee, shit. Whitechapel came from Knoxville. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. Generally, not very, high in that kind of caliber. I have seen you guys pictures and stuff on your Instagram of you guys at like these big ass festivals. What does that feel like to play those big festivals like that?
Well, I will say you're about half right because there have been a couple of acts that have come from Virginia and Tennessee, but there haven't been very many. And where we come from, where we're actually our headquarters is at, there really isn't a lot of places to play. There isn't a huge metal scene, and we're trying to bring that back. That's exactly what we're doing. And we have played in places like Richmond, which I would say is probably the metal capital of Virginia, in my experience. But, you know, to play these small shows at home, you know, that you get 50 to 100 people, which was huge to us starting out, and then going out and playing like Metal in the Mountains and Blue Ridge Rock Fest, where there's like 20,000 people in front of you, was just surreal, honestly. You know, there's not another feeling on the earth like that, and I don't think there's anything that can compare because, you know, when you're sound checking, there's like 5 people out there, and you're like, oh, well, you know, at least there's 5 people, and then you go backstage and you're waiting, and then you hear like thousands of people chanting your band name, and you walk out onto that stage, and there's thousands of people, and as you're playing, thousands more people are like hurting in, and you can't miss a note, you know, in your head you're like, oh my God, this is crazy, like I just want to run off stage, but at the same time you're like, okay, I have to amp it up a little bit because there's more people out here and we want them to follow us after this, so like we have to be good. But it's incredible, man. We're really blessed to have been able to do that in just our second year as a band, because I myself have been doing this for about 21 years, and that was definitely the staple of my career. So, you know, hard work pays off.
Absolutely.
Big show and little show, both are humbling, but Blue Ridge, I blacked out. So I turned around and looked at our drummer every time. I blacked out.
Well, you get into it too, man. Like if there's that many people, I couldn't imagine, like, it's going to be like riding a roller coaster times 14. So like I get where you're coming from. Like you just get out there and it's like, fuck it, I'm doing this. So it's really impressive. And I do want to ask you, kind of touched on the crowd reception a little bit. There are a litany of different metal fans. We've been to Dilation shows and other bands where you know, everybody's into it. I don't know who this band is, but I'm in the pit and I'm a t-shirt afterwards, like shit. And then you got the folks who do this in the corner and look at you like they want to kill you on stage for some odd reason. You know, you guys are definitely not a small group by any means, but you know, speaking objectively, it's not, you know, on the level of like your Lamb of Gods and your bands like that. So what is usually the response to you guys? Is it like, oh, who the hell are these guys? And then by the time you guys are getting off the stage, it's like, fuck, where's your merch booth?
Well, you know, we've had a sprinkle of both. You know, you're always going to have that, especially when you go out of town. But that's why it's so important to pair up with bands that, you know, you're kind of in the same vein of, because if they're fans of whatever bands that you're playing, a lot of times they'll be fans of you and vice versa. Not to mention, I mean, not to brag at all, but we really have some of the best fans ever. We really do. You know, they've set the foundation of everything that we do, and we wouldn't have been able to play these huge festivals if it wasn't for our fans helping us along and getting us out to these places and showing up. So, you know, we've had both, but I think for the most part, we've had a pretty good crowd response. And I think that's really what's kind of gotten us to a lot of these metal fests, is that people are requesting us on these pages and trying to get our name out. So we've been really blessed so far. There's always going to be those people that stand in the corner and hate your guts regardless of what you do. But as long as there's 5 other people where that one person is hating you, then you're still okay.
You got to play fucking Freebird, man, to get those people to love you.
Yeah, that's always that one guy, and I know all 3 of you have heard this. There's no way you haven't. There's some heckler asshole out in the crowd. You guys will play some fucking killer song, whole crowd's into it, you stop, and you're like, thank you, Freebird! And it's like, God damn it, I'm not playing Freebird.
See, my thing is, I've been asked that several times in almost every band I've ever played in, but my response is always, here's a Freebird for you.
There you go.
Every time. That right there.
Hell yeah. Start charging them for it. 20 bucks.
Exactly. That's a good idea. I'm going to start using that.
Yeah.
So, Kristen, have you had the opportunity to like play a badass fucking show?
I've not played anything like Blue Ridge or Metal in the Mountains. I was just a supportive friend and fan at the time. I've played shows with Dying Oath in my other band, but it's nothing been that as big as either one of those.
Okay.
Would you have thought watching Dying Oath, like, the next time they come back here, or the next time I'm going to be playing with them? Was that ever even a thought?
No, not at all. I mean, it wasn't the plan at all. I know one time I drove a long ways away. This is after they lost their first clean vocalist, and I went there to support Mindy because she was having a hard time. And next thing I know, like, her and Josh are like getting me to come on stage to sing the cleans with them, and I wasn't expecting that at all. I mean, that was crazy. And it was awesome, though. So if that counts as maybe being on stage with you guys, I don't know. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I never thought it was going to happen, and then here I am.
No, it totally counts. There's been a couple of times where I'm a drummer since I was 6, so I have a lot of experience, and I follow this guy around a bunch. And there's been several times, like one of his cymbals will kind of off put, so I like go awkwardly on stage like a fucking villain, and then adjust it, and then kind of like look at the crowd like, hey guys, and like, you know, that absolutely counts. That's a lot cooler what you did. A lot cooler what you said.
I'm on a budget, okay?
That's all right. But no, and I do want to ask with the tour life, how is tour life for you? It kind of varies, and you know, goes and go out of town and out the normal range where you guys are. You know, is that a struggle for you guys, or is that something hard if you just keep at it you can hook up with?
Well, we haven't done tour per se. We've traveled to several states in this past year that were like, 6 to 8 hours away, things like that, where we've had to drive pretty far and things of that nature. And we all have families, everybody's got kids and things of that nature. So that does kind of, put a damper on certain things. But honestly, we've all really worked together to make sure that we can get to where we're going, to make sure that we're all working together, that we're all on the same page, that we all get there safely and whatnot. So we haven't toured per se, but, playing in 6 or 7 different states, I guess, kind of counts, especially when you're playing huge festivals and whatnot. So tour per se hasn't been that hard on us. I think the hardest things that we did were back-to-back weekend shows, because you're traveling like 4 hours to one venue, you play, you're there 7 or 8 hours, you drive like 5 or 6 hours to the next thing, you've slept like 2 or 3 hours in the car, then you play, 5 or 6 hours later, and then you've got to tear everything down, and then you're there 6 or 7 hours, and then you drive home another 5 or 6 hours. That was probably the hardest thing for us this year. I'm not going to say we'll never do it again, but hopefully it's not a lot, because it is horrifying. But, when you're on a tour bus, though, that's a different story, because you've got somebody driving you. You can actually sleep and rest and eat properly. But when you're doing all of that yourself, it's kind of hell. I'm not going to lie.
I can imagine.
Hell in a good way, though, because that's what it's all about. My folks were in a band back in the day, Downbleed, and they have incredibly hilarious stories of like playing in a cow field, and they drove like 6 hours to do that and shit like that. And it's like, when you're starting out, no, legit, when you're starting out, that's kind of what you have to do. But yeah, I want to kind of change a little bit here. The year just started. We're not super incredibly deep into it. What is today? Like January 16th? I knew that. I didn't look. I definitely know what day it is. It's a Wednesday. So I do want to ask, since we're halfway through the month. I know we're getting in the studio. I know we got a new drummer, all that good stuff. What can fans of Dying Oath expect in the year 2022? We touched on some of it, but what, in your own summation, can we expect?
Well, definitely the album, because we're not going to stop until we get that finished, no matter what it takes, how long it takes. you know, we're going to make sure that we get out the best product possible. But of course, with that comes singles, music videos, you know, promotion. We'll have new merch, obviously, and then hopefully we can get back to some of these festival shows. If we don't play anything else this year, at least toward the end of the year, we want to try to play Metal in the Mountains, Blue Ridge if they'll have us, you know, whatever else that we can get on, depending on how those things work, because I know everything's changing on a lot of those festivals this year for smaller bands. So, you know, I think that we're going to do a lot of things that we did similar to the last 2 years, but I think that we're going to do it better and smarter this year because now we actually know what we're doing and how things are going to work out and what it takes to do these things. So I'm not going to say it's going to be drastic changes other than the album, but I feel like we're just working smarter, if that makes sense.
Fair enough.
For
Absolutely.
sure. Chris, what do you expect?
I mean, pretty much what she said. I feel like there's going to be like a fresh new take with some different members, but also while keeping the, you know, the same kind of sound that everybody likes, but just in different perspectives. There's different members and stuff to add to that. But other than that, pretty much what she said.
For sure. Ryan?
Yeah, the main focus has been the album, mainly putting our money where our mouth is and getting it done. And not to say we ain't had the funnest time of our lives this past year. Blue Ridge definitely is still at like the top of the page here for all of us that did play. And now we really want to take that step back. If we want to keep doing those big shows, we want to put our money where our mouth is and get this album finished.
Absolutely. And it's like Kristen said, I think that we're still going to keep the same perspective that we've had throughout the last 2 years with the 3 singles that you've heard. But as you guys know, having a new drummer and having a new vocalist and having a new bass player is going to change things kind of drastically as well. Even though we're in the same vein and we're playing the same sort of music, you know, they have fresh ears and fresh eyes to see things that we didn't see before. And I think even now, just with the practices, like, things are flowing more fluently. You know, there's always that connection with your band, and those things tend to change as you go. And so not only are the old core members a lot closer than they were, but bringing in these new people has kind of evolved everything, so to speak, even our bond with each other. So it's exciting to see all of that change.
No, for sure. And it looks like we got time for one more question. But before we do, I'm a little upset that none of you guys said a part 2 interview with
I'm not in charge of that.
that.
Look at this.
That's dilation.
Yeah. Doing it.
And I make it a point on every one of these, almost every one of these, with the exception of Eugene, because he's from the Ukraine and it is very hard to get in contact with him physically. But if
I love you, Jen. I'm sure we could get him in here right now in the comments.
No, like
section.
in the house, like in my house.
Oh fuck!
No, I mean physically.
No.
So everybody that I can get in contact with physically, because I follow Dilation around everywhere. So wherever you guys are, whatever you guys end up, because hell or high water, you guys can play with us. We're making that happen.
We have to do it.
I'm gonna buy all of you a beer, and if you don't drink, then I'll buy you all whatever you like to drink.
Water.
Yes.
We're my best friends. You said beer. I'm in.
Oh,
I mean,
metal.
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
No, for sure. And I do want to kind of.
We got time.
We got time.
We got time.
Go ahead, ask a question,
dude. What's your guys' favorite color?
Green.
Question.
I'm being serious.
Green.
Green. Man, I thought me and you could like be friends when we got to meet in real life, but yeah, come on, man.
But
I'm just kidding.
No, I'm just
Yeah, he
kidding.
likes green. It's okay.
I'm just kidding with you.
Definitely
Question.
red's my favorite color.
Red?
Red.
I probably have to go. I like purple and red, but it's like both of those.
Same.
So, on a serious note, have you guys heard the new Shadow album?
The what?
No,
They have.
You have heard the new Shadow of Intent album?
It's good.
not yet. It's on the bucket list.
Glorious. From start to finish, in my opinion, I know it's only 16 days in, but that will be album of the year. I'm not joking. That shit is fucking...
No, their album's gonna be album of the year, dipshit.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, called me on my shit, and I ain't making me look dumb.
So I do want to ask, since we're talking about it, what are you guys currently listening to? What is some new or maybe just old shit that you guys are like binging to death right now?
Spirit Box has been a huge thing for me lately. For some reason, that new album, I keep going back to that no matter what I listen to. It's always my go-to. So the new Spirit Box album, definitely for me.
Yeah, I'm just listening to a lot of Dying Oath tracks because I'm writing bass lines. So pretty much a lot of Dying Oath so I can write bass lines. And then some like Fallout Radio and just random shit. But yeah.
That's very respectable.
For sure. For sure. Ryan?
I've been stuck on Wage War's Manic album that just came out.
Listen to that.
Yeah!
That and between that and Whitechapel Ken, I've been stuck on that song.
Oh, I'm soft now. I'm a huge Whitechapel fan. I'm repping the beanie.
Hey, I got into the game late, and I tend to like his voice. He's got a good, clean voice, so
Man,
I'm a sucker for acoustic tracks.
That's fair.
You need to listen to like when Whitechapel first started.
Like the first 3 records, so to speak. I personally.
Before Bozeman fucked his voice.
Yeah.
That man was a fuck.
He's also very nice. We've met him several times, so I've met him several times. You should meet him several
I
times.
house sitting a dog one time.
I do. So, for me, absolutely the new Iceland record. I love it very much. I have to mention it on every show we do.
Everyone.
Yep.
He's not lying. Every show we do, Ice Nine Kills his brother 4 times.
Yep.
Awesome.
What about you, Shadow of Intent?
Right now, I'm Shadow of Intent. I've listened to the album twice. Cattle Decap.
God damn it.
Cattle Decap, Shadow of Intent, Flesh God Apocalypse. I've went back and listened to some of the old Lamb of God stuff like Wrath, Sacrament. A little bit of that in there, but mostly Cattle Decap, Flesh God. Deeds of Flesh is good. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Deeds of Flesh. They're actually about to do their first tour in 15 years.
Damn.
So I'm very excited. Hopefully I get to catch that. Yeah, been watching a lot of Hell's Kitchen too. Gordon Ramsay makes.
Yo, bastard. Oh, hey,
No, see, if the death metal was a man, it's him. He's a fucking angry guy.
that's very fair, I guess. I do want to ask Ryan. You said earlier that you were a Bullet fan. Have you checked? I don't even have to ask. I know you have. What do you think of the newest Bullet record?
I mean, I grew up with Bullet, so I've got to watch the change happen over time. I mean, it's hit or miss. Like I said, most of the time with music, it wholly depends on the mood. Like, I know a lot of people didn't like, what was that last one? It was a little more electronic. But Breathe Underwater, that song, the very last song on their last album before the newest one, always pulls me in. I like that one. It's emotional. But, I mean, it's okay. What is it? I was just listening to it this morning. God.
Names, dude. I'm no help. I'm sorry.
No, that's asking Alexandria. You know what? I'll have to look at it, man. Like I said, it all depends on the mood. Everything's in a playlist.
That's fair. That's fair. So it is actually time to wrap up now.
Why?
Because so unless you guys are cool with it, what usually happens is if we get really close to an hour, for whatever reason, Instagram hates our guts and it will kick us off and we have to do part 2s. We can keep talking and run the risk of having to, like in the middle of a sentence, cut off and
It usually gives us a countdown. We can kind of let you know.
We can figure it out. But I do want to ask around the room, when would you guys like to have another talk with Metal Everything? Because none of you said it.
And we're goofy as fuck. We'll talk about metal.
We'll talk about anything.
What's your favorite beers? What's your favorite beer?
Actually, yeah. What's your favorite beer? Fuck my question.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of those. I love Blue Moon, Red Oak. I'm like a weird redneck and like Budweiser.
Hey.
I mean, hey, it's good and it's cheap. But
Michelob Ultras, we tend to drink a lot.
That's weak. I can't do it. That's that girl beer, Mindy.
Oh, come on.
I don't know.
I used to be a Michelob fan, but now where I drink more full flavored stuff, it just tastes like water. And I love water, but I would just rather drink the water.
Water.
I've never been much of a drinker here for a while. I've kind of cut back. Angry Orchard was my poison of choice at the time.
That's mine too.
I prefer
I prefer liquor, but I mean,
Oh yeah.
like if I'm drinking beer, I like Bush.
What my dad always drunk.
But Blue Moon makes me want to gag.
I love
stand
Blue
it.
Moon.
It tastes like a wheat field with an orange peel on it.
Yeah, I'm a fan too.
Great.
Like every time that I'm in this band, I'm like, everybody walks up and they like slap the thing of Heineken, and they're like, I want a Coors Light. I'm like, can I please have a Guinness? And I'm like fucking putting away their Guinnesses. I love Guinness, man.
Now Yingling is okay. I can't drink Yingling. I have to drink at room temperature because something about Yingling cold tastes like shit.
I agree.
I think it does.
Do we have any Guinness fans even in chat? I want some backup on Guinness.
I drink Guinness every now and then. One of my close friends, that's all he drinks. So when I drink with him, he makes me drink it. But I've kind of gotten used to the taste, so I don't hate it.
You need to graduate up to extra stout.
If you're wanting a good puke, you drink extra stout Guinness.
It tastes like it, like whatever. I don't know. I don't know shit. So whatever they make roads out of, like that shit.
Tar?
Yeah, that shit. Yeah, that shit. It's fantastic. It's my personal favorite beer of all time, and it is extremely disgusting, but like in the best way possible, if that makes sense.
So do you guys?
If I'm drunk enough, I'll drink probably anything, so it doesn't matter.
Guys like to drink? You guys put them back?
Or sipper.
Yeah, I was gonna say we usually we'll get a bottle of liquor and we'll share it amongst everybody. It's not that like we drink a whole lot, but we just prefer liquor because it gets the job done a lot quicker than having a sip on a beer. Yeah.
No, you don't. That's why you don't sip on the beer.
So.
See, I'm a sipper. So like when I go see his band,
I'm usually drunk before I touch the stage.
Like when I show up, he's like 97 bushes deep, and I'm just like rolling up with second Guinness in the past like 3 hours, and I'm like, hello. Since we're talking about liquors, this is completely not about metal, but that's what we do here. We shoot the shit.
So my guitarist hates me because we're in the works of a 4-piece. We're working on a band, but right now it's just me, the drummer, Jay, who plays guitar and does some vocals. Our music is particularly very, very big, so he only does it in some spots. And then we have a vocalist, Shane. And Jay hates me because most of our music sits at about 250. Well, when I get drunk, the BPM goes out the window and we're playing at about 300. And so he hates me, especially drunk, and he's talked to me a lot about it, but I don't listen.
Sounds right.
That's hard when you're a vocalist, man, because I played shows like that with my other band. I do vocals and play guitar, and if my drummer in that band gets to feeling it, and our songs go way faster, and I'm trying to just sing, and I'm out of breath, I'm just like, just trying to go, it's a whole thing. That sucks live. Practice is okay. Don't do that live. But yeah, I've been there before.
I understand. You played with it.
Start to do some mumble rap or something. It gets to that point.
There you go. But I do want to ask. We're talking about metal again.
A little bit.
So, what is your guys' writing process? What influences you guys when you all sit in a room? Is it just someone writes a riff and then you go from there, or is it like for me, a lot of times I would take shit to people and be like, "Here's an idea I have." Spawns from there. What is your guys'
I think it's a lot of different things depending on the song, honestly. I know a lot of times it's either Josh or Ryan or both that kind of work out riffs and find parts and put them together or take things out or, work out the kinks at practice. And then, of course, bass and drums will kind of come in, put their feel on it, which will change it a little bit. And then once everything is done and concrete, then me and Jacob will sit down and write. But sometimes we'll do it as a band. Sometimes we'll sit and talk about lyrics and how we want things to map out. But for the most part, it's the two vocalists sitting down and hashing everything out once the music is completely finished.
Back in the day, we used to just get together and have writing sessions where we didn't play anything or even touch our instruments. We just sat around the band space and talked, drank, and just passed around ideas or lyrics, and that's slowly becoming a thing again now
Yeah.
that we're like waiting.
It's very interesting. I love that question when we ask bands like what their how they write, because with Dilation, we don't have the members that you guys have, because I think you guys are like a 6-piece, correct?
Yes.
With us only having usually 9 times out of 10 Dilation writes a song, where right now 3-piece. Me and Jay just sit in the room, and most of our songs we have wrote in a day's time. So it's a lot more. It's just when you have 2 people instead of 3 working on 4, but 2 are writing. The vocalist comes in and he does everything his way. When you have 2 people that are writing a song versus 6, it's a tremendous, very big difference.
Yeah.
So I want to wrap that down into this question. Kristen, are you excited? What are you looking from what you listen to with Dying Oath? What are you looking to bring when it comes to your writing into making this music your own little thing on?
Well, I mean, one, like I said, I was a friend and a fan before joining. Like especially like the guitars and stuff, like that's up my alley. That's the kind of stuff I love to play on guitar. So, but I'm really like interested in bringing a whole different aspect to the bass, to having more complexity to it, instead of, because I don't want to just be an open note and press a note kind of thing. I like to add in a lot of different stuff to it, a lot of fills and stuff like that too.
Right.
So, adding in a little more grooviness and stuff like that to the bass.
You're gonna be up there like horn, fucking smacking the shit out of it and everything.
Well, I think also, I mean, her being a vocalist and a guitar player too, there have been times when we've been at practice and she's kind of done a few riffs or, thought of other ideas. So it's kind of cool to have, Ryan in the band, who used to be a drummer, who is now the guitar player, and Jacob, our other vocalist, as well as myself, both used to be bass players. Then we've got Kristen, who is a vocalist and a guitar player, who is now a bassist. So it kind of works out to the point of like we all have ideas about all of the instruments and are able to come together and kind of talk about that as a group. So it helps a lot. So
when you lost a drummer, how, like, I don't know how it is as a multi-instrumentalist type person, but being a drummer, I would be like, fuck, yeah. So Ryan, did you ever think at one point in time I could just step away from guitar and go back to drums, or?
Absolutely not.
No, not at all?
No, when we first started playing together, like years ago, I just had like a Pearl kit that I bought from a pawn shop, and it was just 3 of us at the time, and we just jammed around and everything else like that. I've played guitar a lot longer than I ever played drums, and that was my main instrument when we decided not to. Got back together, I played drums for maybe like 6 months. Other dude that we had, guitarist, he was gone, so I was like, all right, my time to shine, I'm taking back over, and that's just where it's been from there.
So like with doing this whole not a chance, like when your most recent drummer left, it never crossed your mind, not one time?
Hey, this thing right here says I'm not going back to drums.
We joked about it a few times, and we like to give him a hard time about it, but he's phenomenal at guitar, and he's very humble about it. He won't tell you this himself, but he's brilliant when it comes to writing guitar riffs and on playing guitar. So it was just a natural thing to just find another drummer, because him and Josh just work too well together as guitarists.
For sure. That was something that I will continue to the love for Ryan here. That was something that I actually kind of picked out listening to End of Days, Insomniac, and Modern Testament, which you can check out on Spotify or wherever you stream music. That was something that I kind of picked up too, is that like the musicianship, it isn't just like cool metal music. It's also like clearly these people know what they're doing. Like clearly they understand like how to play their instrument, because there are certain bands, and of course we're never throwing shade, but like there are certain bands who just, like you said earlier, Kristen, like open notes, and it's that for like 3 minutes, and a long growl and thank you. And it's like, you did nothing. Like, I respect somebody who, you know, or a band that goes in and plays their, that's something that I think is absolutely a credit to you guys, is that the instruments are played. It's not just, you know, 2 or 3 strings. You guys are actually playing your instruments and putting forth an effort that you hear audibly. Check out your music for sure.
Thank you. That's awesome.
I'd like to say that I think Josh really put me further on that path, because beforehand I was never a click guy. So it all came with work. I basically got all of my like main fundamentals down within 2 years under Josh, because he knew more than I did.
When you say Josh, oh, you're talking about your, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I know within the mid, Josh, so it kind of threw me off. Sorry.
I think he's
Josh is kind of like the daddy of the group. You know, he kind of keeps us in line and keeps us humble and keeps us on the right path of things. You know, sometimes it's brutal, but sometimes you need it, you know, to be honest. Like, but we definitely do have to give a lot of thanks to Josh for keeping us going and keeping us motivated and trying to push us to be better. So.
I mean, need that too, though, because like I get where music is like a career and everything, and a lot like that's the goal, and you can't do that in a room full of friends. Not saying you guys aren't friends, but like where you sit down and like fuck this playing.
You got to be like-minded in that way,
Yeah.
where it's like, you know, you push each other, and it is a sort of relationship, but it's also your comfortability level that of friends. So yeah, for sure, that's something that you got to have, I think, as a band is that camaraderie, but also that drive to push each other, to make each other better musicians and stuff like that. So I absolutely get that. And I do want to, you said it like, I don't know, 5 minutes ago, Ron, but fuck yeah, Pearl. I was holding that literally the whole time. But yeah, we are going to go ahead and wrap up, guys. And I do want to thank you all for the time to do this. This is really fucking cool. We will, at some point during the year, one of 2 or 3 things is going to happen. I'm either going to buy you all a beer or water or whatever you want, whatever your drink of choice is. We're going to do this again, or both.
You got to play with dilation.
And play with dilation.
And within the midst down here.
Yeah, there's the 4th thing that happened. But no, we're looking forward to your guys' record. Again, check out End of Days, Insomniac, Modern Testament on Spotify. Anywhere you guys listen to music. Look forward to new Dying Oath record dropping relatively soon.
Yes, we have.
Awesome. And go ahead right quick and give all your plugs. That way we can follow you guys. And I'll tag you guys all as well.
We actually have a link tree, which will give you all the links to everything. But we are literally on everything from TikTok to YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, anywhere that you can find a band, we are there. But we do have a website, and we do have a link tree on our page. So if you can find that, it gives you the links to everything that you'll possibly need. So.
Awesome. Well, I do want to thank you guys for coming on and taking the time. Again, Dying Oath, I'll tag everybody's shit down here. That way we can get that going. Check out their link tree. Look forward to the new record dropping this year. Look forward to some new material from these guys. As you guys saw, they're cool people right back. So give them a like and follow and all the buttons that are positive. So everybody stay safe, stay good out there, and thank you guys again for being on the show.
Thanks
for having us, guys. It's been awesome.
Take it easy, guys.
See you.
Bye.